Music lovers, thank you for visiting my channel. My name is Caesar Pink.
Let your mama down. Let your mama down. Let your mama down. Baby, please.
And today we have a guest here. Her name is Audrey Kao? Kao, great. And Audrey is an experimental filmmaker and an artist, and we'll talk to her about that soon. And we're going to listen to a classic, The Beatles' Helter Skelter. But first, all the proceeds from this channel are donated to the Arete Living Arts Foundation. So please like and subscribe, it really helps. And if you would like to support us further, you can join our Patreon or make a tax-deductible donation via PayPal. All the links are down below in the description. So, Helter Skelter. Well, let's talk about you first. Let's start. Is your main medium you work in film, or are there other things that you do?
I've done a couple different things, and right now it's a lot of video work, but I don't like it existing as just a video. Most of the time I would rather it be projected like in space or like on a screen in a space.
And you showed me a piece of video work, but you said you would actually like it to be like a live performance art piece, is that correct?
Yeah, I would want it to be an installation that audience members would be able to interact with, like, as they come across it in a space.
Could you describe it a little bit to the audience, and I'll show a little bit of that clip if that's cool with you.
Oh yeah, I was given the assignment of making something with 3 screens, and I wasn't thinking about the fact that they meant like it would be displayed on 3 screens rather than involve 3 screens, although that seems pretty straightforward. But I created a miniature living room that audience members could interact with. So like sit on a little sofa, and then there were 3 box monitors on a TV stand in front, and they were connected to different CCTV cameras that were angled to different positions. So as you interacted with the piece, you could sit down and then be looking at yourself kind of uncannily from 3 different angles.
Tell us a little bit about your personal background, where you come from.
I'm from outside of Seattle, and right now I'm living in London because I wanted to go to school outside of the US. I can live there on a student visa for a little bit.
And how was that experience for you living outside the US?
I think it's important to live in a lot of places, even though like it can be difficult or not accessible.
Was there anything that surprises you about how people see America in other countries?
Not really.
You just thought they'd think we're assholes, and they did?
Yeah, but I guess I'm from like, I feel like I've seen a lot of different types of people since I was like pretty young. So I feel like I had a kind of rough idea that the world would see us as assholes.
So the area where you grew up, was that a rural area or a city area?
Yeah, it's like a suburban area.
Okay.
Where like a lot of people that commute into Seattle for work live.
Great. Well, I look forward to seeing some more of your art sometime.
Yeah.
As I said, we're going to listen to the Beatles' Helter Skelter. Now, this is a song with a lot of weird history, and we'll go into some of that. But let's listen to a part of that. You know, and let me add that it's a song that, for people my generation, you think everybody would know this song, but really, half the rock music fans may have easily never heard this before.
To the bottom, I go back to the top of the slide. Where I stop and I turn and I go for a ride. Till I get to the bottom and I see you again. Yeah, yeah. But don't you want me to love you? I'm coming down fast, but I'm miles above you.
ask, what is it about this song that attracted you to it?
I think probably the connection with Charles Manson,
Thank you.
and then listening, because I like the White Album, and I feel like I would listen to it. It's the only Beatles album that I really like, is the White Album.
It's
So I feel like
interesting.
I'll be listening through it, and then I didn't care about it that much, and then when I learned how it was connected to Charles Manson, then I kind of gave it another listen. And then it just got me thinking about it, and now, like, I don't even listen to the rest of the White Album, I just listen to this song.
It's interesting. I got into this album because I just finished the book about Charles Manson.
Yeah.
And I remember I got home, this was on vinyl, and I played the beginning of Revolution 9 backwards so you could hear, and it really does say, "Turn me on, dead man." I assume it was an accident, but you can
Yeah.
hear it. Do you have a fascination with Manson and what happened there?
Not even really. I mean, it's just interesting. And I often think about whether or not I would get indoctrinated into a cult.
Interesting.
I feel like people could be separated into people that would get indoctrinated to a cult and people that wouldn't, and I don't know where to group myself.
I never thought about it. I think as a normal person, I'm less likely to that. But what if that happened when I was young? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if I was in that time period.
And for people that don't know, what happened is Charles Manson and they had a kind of a commune, a hippie family, and it's odd because Charles Manson himself wasn't proven to have killed anybody, but he had told his followers to go out and kill some people. And the guy the police or whoever he was who investigated it, believed that they found a lot of writings around the ranch they were living in with lyrics and titles from the Beatles' White Album. And the guy who investigated it, the police person, claimed that Manson had this concept he called Helter Skelter, where he believed black people were going to take over the country, and he and his family were going to go hide in a cave while the black people were ruling the country. But he believed that they were so dumb that the society would fall apart, and then he and his family would come out and, be the leaders or whatever of this new society. Now, there's debate whether there was any reality behind that thing, and I don't know. And I've studied this quite a bit, and I don't know whether it's an idea in the prosecutor's head or whether there's truth to it. What do you know anything?
I mean, I haven't done that much research. I was just thinking that Americans don't know what a helter skelter is.
Right,
It's
right.
just a slide. Like, it's just an English type of slide that's at fairs that you go in circles around, and it's just the Beatles singing about that. But I wonder if I was on a lot of psychedelics and didn't know what helter skelter was, maybe I could start having visions of a race war and me being this supreme race. Probably not, but in his particular situation, that's what happens.
Well, what's funny, I mean, it's a very aggressive song, but once you know what a helter skelter is, the lyrics suddenly become so innocuous.
Yeah.
And it's almost
It becomes
fun.
very, very simple.
Yeah. Interesting. Now, what about the music of this song? Is there anything about that?
I kind of like thinking about how the Beatles started as a kind of silly boy band,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like this is just very good. I couldn't tell you why it's very good because I don't have any formal music knowledge, but I really enjoy listening to it. And I like how they really effectively make the song sound like you're going down a curly Q slide. I feel like it really evokes that feeling.
Huh. Well, let's listen to some more of it.
When I get to the bottom, I go back to the top of the slide, and I stop and I turn and I go for Do you, don't you want me to make you? I'm coming down fast, but don't let me break you. Tell me your answer. You may be a lover, but you ain't no dancer. Look out, there's a scoundrel. There's a scoundrel. There's a scoundrel. Look out, there's a scoundrel. So come in that fire. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Coming down.
Now, would you say that part you just passed was the part where you felt like you were coming down, or?
I feel like every kind of,
No, don't get that fan. Don't stay.
like when he says get to the top of the slide, then that's when it starts, and then it keeps going up as if you were like crawling back up the slide over and over and over and over again. I feel like, and then this next part, like the part after we pause it, like we paused it here, I feel like that's when it really becomes quite an amusement park ride, like,
Huh.
because like you think it's coming to an end,
Yeah.
but then it's like, no, we're going again.
Right, yeah. I mean, it is such an aggressive, kind of dissonant sounding song for such silly lyrics in a way. I
Yeah.
wonder what was in Paul McCartney's mind to put those elements
Yeah.
together. Now, another thing that I've heard this a million times, but it never occurred to me. Behind all this noise, you hear these backing vocals like, ah, and like some almost doo-wop stuff back there. It's
Yeah.
really interesting, the different elements they...
Well, I feel like this is like, because this is more of their response, I feel like, to probably like bluesy rock of
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that much about the Beatles, but I feel like when they kind of ventured outside of what they like started at, they started getting some flack.
Well, I think there was, they had the it was great, but I think at least Lennon felt a little bit embarrassed by some of what they were doing and wanted to do something that was a little more raw and rocking, and he eventually didn't want to work with the producer, I think it was his name. But anyways, let's listen to a little more of this.
Like, this is the best bit, in my opinion, when it rises again.
It does kind of feel like the other music, but you can hear other
Yeah.
noises in the other
Is this the version where he says,
I got blisters on my fingers.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was Eric Clapton saying that.
I think so, but I don't know.
I heard it was, I might have this wrong, but that, because Eric Clapton did the solos on While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Wasn't he stole George Harrison's girlfriend, right?
Yeah, and George didn't seem to mind that much, probably. Wife, I think it was his wife. But
I'd be pissed off.
yeah, it's a strange really. I'm not really a big Clapton fan myself. But anyways, now when you went to England, did you like seek out one of those rides to test it out?
No, it doesn't feel like worth the money to do that. I went to like a little park fair once, and they didn't have one.
So it's a ride, you know, like a fair ride. It's not like something that's in the playground.
Yeah, it's more like a carnival ride.
I
But
see.
there's no mechanics. It's just a slide.
Huh. Yeah,
I also feel like because it's on a curve, you'd get repeatedly banged against the like arc that the slide's making. I don't feel like it would be a very comfortable slide.
Oh, that's kind of amazing. Well, thank you so much. That was fun. And thank you for visiting the channel, and hope to see you soon.